Hello, YouTubers. How are you? Reloading Bench back with you once again. Not like you were going to answer that question, but let me rephrase that. Hello, YouTubers. Reloading Bench back with you once again. Hope you're doing well as you watch yet another video about what the heck I might be doing. And what we've got here is a failure to communicate. Anybody know where that line came from? A most excellent movie. In any case, what I'm going to be doing is something that I would have preferred to purchase. And when I was ordering my mill, and I ordered a bunch of miscellaneous extra stuff because of the one shipping fee, as opposed to ordering pieces here and there and getting nickeled and dimed. And you know, not an unfair statement, but a reality of that's what happens when you order piecemeal. You know, the shipping charges add up. So I went to my local Taps Plastic, and they have a remnants bin, and each of these pieces was $2. So I think I have $12 in acrylic. And my thought was, and then I went over to the Orange Box shop, picked up some hinges. Don't know if I'm going to use the screws or if I'm going to go with nuts and bolts. But the whole idea, and again, I would have preferred to purchase this, and I'm not sure how the camera's going to pick this up because the lines are kind of thin. But this particular item, and I was debating whether to go with and I didn't have this picture with me at the time when I was at the depot. I was debating whether I go one or two on each side, and it looks like they went with drilling through the acrylic because I was wondering, you know, should I try and sink the screws into the side of the acrylic, or does it make sense to, and obviously I think it makes sense to go through the acrylic, but in any case, they went with one larger, and I think I might take these back because the one larger was the same size as this. And if I do just one on each side, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm at the depot more often than not, so I will probably do that. But these were the last two of this size, so I picked them up just in case. In any case, I would have purchased this had it not been, or had it been available. So the product's currently available. Estimated delivery, you know, sometime in February. And then I got to thinking that, you know, this is just two magnets. And when we were remodeling what I call the brick room a few years ago, I remember picking up some rare earth magnets, you know, little silver things about that size. So I have them somewhere in the house because I use that for a door so that the door would stay open on the door kick. And that worked well. So my thought is, and I bought these extra pieces for similar ideas, which I will discuss, or I bought them so that in case I F this up, and you know, this is a lot thicker than these, but at $2 a sheet, great deal. And I'm sure I could find something in the garage slash channel that we can add. So the idea is to take my first working model is going to be, or my first idea is going to be something like this. And I don't know, so the dimensions on this were 11 1/4, so obviously that's 11 1/4. This is not 11 1/4, which is another reason I bought the bigger sheet. So if I decide I want to go larger, I have that option, and then I would just cut this sheet up. But I mean, these were already pre-cut, and to be honest, you know, the size might be just perfect, again, for what I'm trying to do. And you know, if I knew what I was doing on my mill, I could just mill out little spots for those things. But you know, since I don't, that's not going to happen. So I thought to myself, you know, how hard could this be to make? And that's the idea. So I will be making something similar to this for the mill. That's one task. The second that I thought I would do, take another sip of delicious coffee, is specifically with this piece. I think I picked these up if these were not the right size. And again, this is overkill. This is probably the right size. And what thickness is this? Yeah. So this is a 1/4 inch thick. That's what this is. So this is definitely overkill. But hey, you know, I like to try and make stuff. So this one, I thought I would make a standing shield, chip guard, but only mounted in a piece of like oak. So I take a piece of oak, do a dado cut down the center, and then just mount it so that this can be used like that in front of either the lathe, probably the lathe, because it looks like the mini mill, you don't have this kind of space. I mean, there's nothing to attach this to other than like magnetically the back of the vise, which is what this is intended to do. So this is intended to, you know, butt up against the back of the vise, and then you have, you know, your sides that flare out. So this, I think, will be in front of the lathe as a potential chip guard, because when I was doing this earlier in the month, these strands were not only coming off, but they were hot. So this would allow me to, I could hold this up, I could do whatever. Again, just a thought. I don't know if it'll actually work, but, you know, we'll see. So the next week or two is going to be the make it at home stuff for the channel on both the mini mill and the mini lathe. So that is it for right now. Picking up on this project for the weekend in the driveway, we're going to try and make this. So I swapped the two smaller ones for the larger one, and same thing with bolts. So I don't know, you know, when you look at measurements, this thing is compatible with 3 and 4 inch milling vices based on this size. It's 11 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 1/4 inch thick. So obviously this is a 1/2 inch thick material, and I also have the thinner stuff. Whether I use this or cut these up that you've seen previously, these are 1/4 inch. So this more closely resembles in thickness, so that's going to be a weight issue, because I do have my magnets. Unfortunately, they're not in front of me right at this minute. Probably easier, I don't know, the magnets aren't that thick, so maybe doing an end mill into this, obviously this, but in any case, if I were to decide to use these, which I'm kind of shying away from, I just think this is too heavy and too awkward, but they will come in handy for some future project. We're talking about 7 inches, so this together would be 21 inches. So I probably, you know, depending on putting this in front of the vise on the mill, and I'll show that, you know, 7 inches, and then maybe 4 inches on each side. So I would only cut, and if these are 7, I'll probably just cut this in half and make it 3 1/2, 3 1/2. Yeah, we got 7 inches. So again, at most maybe use 2 of these to accomplish this trifold, or and again, this is 3 1/4 inches tall. This is 5 1/2. So 3 1/4, 3 3/4, I think. Yes, 3 3/4. You know, I think that's more moderate. I'd probably make it maybe at 4. I don't know. But in any case, 3 3/4. This is 12 inches. So if I cut, you know, 2 pieces of this, 3 and some change, and then cut one in half. We're actually, if this says it's 11 1/4 and this is 12 inches, then 1 cut across and then 2 slices would give me my 3 pieces, and then I would have to waste a second cut. In any case, we'll be breaking out the table saw, one of the table saws, as I try and sell one of them. But I'll put this in front of the mill so you can get an idea of size and thickness. Back in a minute. The magnet side would be right here. And again, when you think about the size of the chuck, you know, what I'm drilling into, and having this so tall, again, it's going to be back here, but I have to be considerate that it doesn't hit the top of the display. So I think that 3 3/4 mark puts it, I'm just saying about 3 1/2, puts it right about there, and I think that's plenty tall enough for what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to run with those numbers. If Little Machine found them good enough for me. All right, here's my 3 3/4 inch piece. There's my center-ish, and I'm eyeballing this. So I'm going to say that that's a limiter and that's a limiter. And we'll probably put 3 magnets. 1, 2, 3. So magnet, actually maybe 2's enough. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm thinking 3 magnets. So let me measure these and we'll go from there. All right, as you saw, there was my centerpiece, my 2 side pieces. Stuff cuts beautifully on the table saw, but wow, what a mess it makes. Here's my rare earth magnets, and we'll probably use, obviously, the biggest one. Let me just tear off 3 of these. So we'll do 3 of these. We'll bust out the Little Machine Shop in honor of making the clone end mills. Let's see what looks like. What do we have? Ooh, that might be a perfect. That's looking real good. So I'm hoping that's 3/8. Let's check. All right, so let's go inch. We're zeroed. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be challenging to do. So let's peel off one of these magnets and see how it cooperates. 0.39. We're going to say 0.391. Okay, so we're just a little shy. 374. So 3/8 is a little big, excuse me, a little small, and 1/2 inch is way too big. So how are we gonna do this? Let me check my other end mills to see if I have something between 1/4, something between 1/2 and 3/8. Back shortly. All right, so my set, I've got, what do we say, 0.391? Yeah, this is, so this 0.448, a little bit too big. Yeah, 0.3, yeah. So, what I think I might do, if I can find my magnets, yeah, that's swimming around space. Little too big. So, the 3/8 4 flute. Maybe I should pick the right one up. The 3/8 4 flute. 3/8 6. All right, we're going to go with, we're still going to use the little machine. And notice the difference. Maybe not. Similar shop. All right, that's what we're going to go with. All right, so there are my 3 magnets, and you may ask, why didn't you make them all level? And the simple answer is because when you look at the picture of the vise, the back of the vise, it actually looks like this on the base. So I went below the holes or above the holes on the vise. So I'm guessing these will not fit. Maybe there'll be a press fit. The depth, the end mill did a beautiful, beautiful job on the cuts, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we may get away with a press fit. May. So boy, those are little boogers. I'll tinker with the potential press fit here shortly, and then we'll worry about sides. Actually, probably what I'll do is I'll drill first on the sides, and then I think that was, yeah, I don't remember. That's definitely that side. Maybe this was, yeah, whatever, doesn't matter, they're all the same. So I will probably drill first before doing that. Back later. All right, so I don't know what I was thinking, but 6 pieces, 8 holes. So this is the almost finished product. Obviously I bought long because I wasn't sure which size, which thickness I was going to use. So we will use the Dremel clone to cut these to size, but I need to run to the hardware store and get another pack. There's the magnets pressed, glued and pressed. Thank you, Dremel clone. So I'll bring it over to the vise, and you can hopefully see the magnets not jump out of this plastic. Moment of truth. All right, so all I care about is, all right, so that holds. You've got, yeah, it's actually, that's I'm not moving, and it's too bad my little janky jank over here. In fact, let me take that off before it scratches up a bunch of plastic, because that's exactly what will happen. That's why I left all the plastic coverings on for my test fittage. And we'll put this one on this side just because. And that was the reason I went with 3 of these little magnets. So again, if you notice, maybe not, my holes are, I have low, high, low. This is high, low, high. So just not exactly the opposite, but you know, enough that it's on there. And we'll move the vise jaws. I have to do this left-handed because of where the camera is standing. And hopefully you can see that moving. So it's on. And when I go back to the hardware store and get yet another set of nuts and bolts, not screws, nuts and bolts, I will trim them, remove the plastic, and then share with you the final product. So I'm looking at $1.38, $3 for the hinges. So that'll be $6, and then that piece of plastic was $2. So to build this, and the magnets I had, so let's just put a $5 on the magnets, even though that's overpriced in my opinion. So what do we have? $2, $5 for the magnets, $7, $3, $10, $13 to build the equivalent of the little machine shop. What did this cost? The not bashing on Little Machine because I don't believe they make it, but you know, not a difficult thing to craft. Again, nothing is locked in tight just because of how I have the bolts just hand tightened in there. But I will crank this down, I'll cut them, I'll crank it down, and I'll pick up some more and then show you the final product. I am declaring success on this project. So we have our magnets that are offset to the holes for the most part. And again, I guess we could just move yeah, it's on there. It's top heavy, so you can snap it off, but I mean, it's there. And there's my my hinges, so that whatever I'm working on is hopefully not spraying with chips. So if I had to do it all over again, and I might do this as well, I'll probably soften these edges, and I would probably go with bigger magnets, more powerful magnets. It looks like having the magnet up here isn't as good as idea as what I thought, because it, you know, it looks like it wants to be top heavy. So maybe down there, or all three in the same row would have been better. I have more of this, so we'll see how this works, and if it doesn't, I will make another one, and if it does, all the better. So I'll probably soften some of the edges. These are a little crisp. Should have done that before I put it all together, but we're going to call this the prototype, and we've got more magnets, or if I need to get bigger magnets, can do, and we can reuse all the other hardware. So the only thing it's missing is my logo, and again, I would say that I don't know that that's going to be a problem, because there's nothing here that's getting touched, because it's the mill that's doing the work. So you know, we're done. This is a project complete. Later. Hello folks, Reloading Bench back with you again. Another box from our buddies at the Zon, and I'm not going to try and guess what this is. We'll actually see it. Okay, so one of these is going probably back. I wanted to do what I would call a strength kind of test. So if you recall, wow, these are dirty as shit. They don't look like that online. Yeah, they don't. They look nice and very pretty online. Yucky. And this looks like it's freaking miniature. Gonna guess this is not what I'm thinking it's gonna be. Obviously it's magnets, but you know, when you read the size and description of this stuff, I don't know, before I say anything, I might be pleasantly surprised. Maybe so. So the idea was to pick up, test the difference between these, I'll call these fucking magnets. And by the way, never work with multiple magnets at once. And by that I mean, let me show you. So if you recall, I had a sheet of acrylic, and it was enough to give me 2 of these. So I cut it for 2, not intending necessarily to make it for 2. And then I made this. And again, you can see the glue mess, because as soon as I was trying to glue the magnets, they were just jumping all over the place. I'm like, oh. So the message there is only work with 1 magnet at a time. And this magnet, this one that wants to go right here, is bigger. My case and point. I have made my case and point. I think that's oil. So this is a bigger magnet. So my thought was, are these stronger? You know, because they talk about this is, you know, neo something or other, rare earth, blah, 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 blah. I call bullshit on that. So are these puppies any stronger, these black magnets, than, you know, these puppies, these silver magnets? So I'm gonna do a little test. I'm gonna put this on the mill, and you know, I was debating. You know, with these size magnets, I could only do 3. I'd probably do them 3 in a line instead of offset. These I could probably get away with 4. So I'll probably do a second one of these and see which one kind of works better. But I'm really not sure which one is stronger. Now, this one should be, because it's, you know, twice as, you know, it's got 2x the mass or so. So more to come in this space with some magnets, and we'll figure out which one's a keeper and which one's not. And I've also always found it's good to have magnets around. And magnets at the big box shops are ridiculously overpriced. Harbor Freight is what I would say reasonably priced for magnets. But the big box shops are just crazy overpriced. So these were actually both the same price. But you're going to pay more for the cutesy little nickel coated ones. So I'll see which one I think is the stronger of the 2. And that's the one that will win on version 2.0 of this. More to come. Putting both of these on the end of the milling vise. Very weak, noticeably stronger, and smaller. So these are the ones that will not be staying with us, and they will be returning to our friends at the forest. Wow, very disappointing. They did not look like this online. They looked a little more showroom finishy than they did janky jank. And of course I forgot to include one of them, 2 of them. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. Small ceramic magnets. And hello to the, it's called neodymium. Okay. Neodymium. Neodymium. Yeah, whatever. Almost 1/2 inch. So we'll play with bits on the end mill and see what fits, and we'll probably go 4 across if they'll fit, and that will be that. You'll see the finished product because it's just essentially more of the same of this. All right, we have version 2.0 finished, and the hardest part of 2.0, because these were all, you know, end-to-end center, very easy to determine spacing. This one a little more challenging to get equal distance, but that was finally done with my Common Core math. Again, very simple to make version 2.0 because I had already cut the acrylic, and the only thing I had to do was match up the holes. So I used these as templates on these, and that was pretty straightforward. So we now have 4 magnets, and the other change I made was to soften each of the edges ever so slightly so that if I go to pick it up, there's nothing on any of these edges, whereas these are sharpy, sharp. These are slightly rounded, not enough to really see, And again, we've got 4 magnets, so I will show you the difference in the grippy grip. I guess we don't need tape on here anymore telling me which side is left, and I'll leave those on there in case I do a third template or a third version. Can't imagine that. But yeah, it came out great. I'm really happy with it. It's a super easy project. Again, the hardest thing was and no glue spillage, no messy glue, because I did it one magnet out at a time, as opposed to having all 3 out and then putting it in and moving the other magnet, and then all of a sudden it yanked it out. So I would drill, glue, set, let it dry, then I went over to the other side, same thing, and again, came out good. So I will show you the difference of the two on the back of the vise on the mini mill. So my cost for doing this, these were $2.93, so we're going to call that $3 for the hinges, $1.50 for the nuts and bolts. Previously I used free magnets. These were $6, so I think we're at 3.5, 5, $11 and $2, so $13, and then my labor, which is always free because it's a hobby. So $13 versus 35 plus tax, 40 plus shipping, 10, so $50 online. What did I say? $6 for the magnets, 5, 11, $13. Not a bad trade-off. Good stuff. I'll throw it up on the mini mill now. All right, so this was version 1.0, which again, it worked. It held. You know, my only regret is messy magnets, and maybe I would have made that one level. So with version 2, that is on there. Again, it's going to be top heavy because as soon as you hit the top, it's got the potential to move, just as version 1.x, 1.0. But we are done. The only thing I don't have is a cool sticker or some way to etch in, you know, no laser etching, reloader or reloading bench, or either one of those. But this is done. We're not making any more of these. But now that I've said that, we're not making any more of these. But this whole setup, along with what I did for the mini lathe as everything in the garage drops, I was thinking of doing something in the back, well, you can't see, something in the back of the mill so that my chips won't go flying past the back of the mill. So, you know, something like this. So we'll get creative and see what my imaginative mind can come up with for a future video. I just realized as I was looking at the screen, that was in the way probably the whole time. So again, we are done.